What's up? What's up? What's up, child? We are back. I'm trying to get caught up on all the things that I'm not caught up on. So we are here to talk about Ladies of London. Yes, Chuck. This is live number 3, honey, and I got at least one more in me. I'm gonna do a tribe meeting this afternoon. I got at least one more in me, and I think I'm gonna do a members only slash. I think we're gonna do something later on this evening. But hit the wrong button. Sorry, y'all. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's go ahead and get into this. This is Ladies of London, y'all. I wasn't sure if I was going to watch this show. And then after I watched the first episode, I was hooked. But I just haven't had time to come and talk to y'all. Because I didn't watch the first episode until we were already 3 episodes in. So I wasn't sure if I was just going to do like do one episode at a time and do it as an upload. Or how I was going to do it. But I decided, well, it's spring break. Let me go ahead and just do it this week and try to get caught up. So I'm going to do episodes 1, 2, and 3 today, and then later on this week I'll do episodes 4. I think they're on episode 5. So 4 and 5, I think. So let's get into it. Now, I have notes from the first episode. I kind of don't have any notes for the rest of it, but we're going to do all 3 episodes at one time, so we're going to kind of jump around anyway. So, Ladies of London, the first thing about Ladies of London that I thought was absolutely hilarious is that it's called Ladies of London, but it is being narrated by a man, which is hilarious to me, right? It is being narrated by a man. Mark, I was going to say Margot. Mark is an antique collector. Listen, all of these people come from money. Now, all of them don't have money today, but all of them, for the exception of, I think, like the Americans, I think are the ones that don't really come from any money. But Mark definitely comes from money. I believe his mother was like a Russian princess or something like that, and his dad, I forgot who his dad is, but rich, okay? But Mark is an antique collector, and he is the narrator of this, well, at least the first episode. But he's pretty much the narrator of the show, so to speak. And then this starts off with him having a garden party. He said, "Hey, London is all about the garden parties," and so he is throwing this fabulous garden party where we are going to meet all of the people on the show, and everybody was there except for Emma, who is Black royalty. She is the first Black royal, not Meghan Markle, but Miss Emma is. And Darra. Now we're going to talk about Miss Darra, okay? So let me go through the people on the show because I didn't write down in the order we met them. But Margot, who is an actress, she was in this very, very, very risque. Right, you had to watch the first episode. Yeah, all these M's. Y'all know how I was messing up with the Latis over on Bell Collective and Married to Medicine. But Margot, she's an actress. Like I said, and I wrote in here PORN because the movie that she's most popularly known for was pretty much like, according to what they said, almost like a damn near soft porn. But it got picked up by the Cannes Film Festival, and then she became like this sensation, and it was like a whole thing, right? Kimmy is a socialite. Kimmy is very interesting. At the end of episode 3, I was kind of irritated with Kimmy, but we'll get there. But I like Kimmy. She's got that quirky personality. Kimmy has an ex-husband, and she has 2 kids. Her daughter is autistic. Her and her husband were kind of like this on-again, off-again couple, and she decided to have kids, and kind of like a thing. It sounds like they're in a better place than what they used to be, and she says, she works hard to maintain a good relationship with him because that's what's in the best interest of their kids, right? So their kids are, and it sounds like he wasn't around a lot in the beginning of the kids, but he's trying to do better now. But Kimmy is actually, her father is Haitian. Her father was like a Haitian like worked in the, like she said he was part of the regime that was overthrown in like the 1960s, but he was Haitian. And then her mom was like a socialite that basically sounds like she had some it sounds like her mom maybe dealt with some mental illness, because basically her mom had no interest in being her children's life. And Kimmy hinted that her mom had some depression, but she basically was raised by her dad. And when the regime was overturned in Haiti, they moved to Miami, and she's lived this great life. Now, again, I don't know what her financial situation is now, but she looks comfortable. She don't look like she really hurting for nothing, but we don't know. I'm only 3 episodes in, so if something comes up later on, I haven't gotten there yet. Lottie is a designer. She's pregnant, and her boyfriend is Joshua. Joshua is a tailor to the stars. He has all of these like VIP celebrity clients, and a lot of people think that maybe, you know, he's a little bit of a gender bender. Maybe he wears makeup, and a lot of people think that he's gay. And she was like, he's not, but we have this really kooky life together. We do our makeup together, you know. So she totally embraces who he is. And they having a whole baby child. So there's that. Kimmy is a trust fund. Yeah, she's definitely, like I said, she definitely got some money. But the reason why I'm making that difference is because when I get to Missy, no, not Missy. Did I not write her name down? Who's the one? Oh, wait a minute. Did I not write her name down? Oh, shoot, y'all. Who's the one? No, he's not Black Haitian. He's Haitian, though. They were talking on Reddit as if she's a huge racist. Margot. But I said Margot was the one that was the actress. Margot is the one I'm thinking about. But then who's the one that's the actress? Oh, damn, I done messed up these names. Missy is the model. Micah is the etiquette queen. Emma is the royal. Damn it. Darra is the... We're going to get to Darra. Huh. Lottie. Is it Lottie? No, Lottie is the designer. Yeah, Margot, I think, is the one I'm talking about. Then who am I missing? Child, there's so many damn people on this show. Who am I missing then? Damn it. Okay. I think her name is Margot. I think, but Margot's a socialite too, but Margot don't have no money. She grew up very privileged and very wealthy, but she don't have no money now. And that's the one that basically... Martha! Thank you. That's who I'm looking for. Martha. And I do have Martha's name right here. I skipped right over it. Martha's name is right there, y'all. Lord, she was next on the list after Kimmy. If I had just kept going down my list, Martha is next. So Martha is also a socialite, but right now Martha is broke. Martha lives in like a farmhouse that needs a lot of work. She's got a bird that is literally flying around, just dropping shit. Just nasty. Just nasty. I honestly can't go nowhere further than that. Just nasty. I think she's got like a dog and a cat. I mean, a bunch of stuff. Now, she said that she had a really nice house, but she had a stalker, so she moved out of her house into this house. But we're going to get to her in a minute, where she just is still making bad decisions and letting these men... I'm going to go on and say it because I might forget to say it. She met some guy at the park who said he was a painter, so she gave him like a $300 or $400 deposit to paint, because she wants to renovate her house one room at a time. She said basically that's all she can afford to do is one room at a time. And she basically gave this man money, didn't know nothing about him, first name, last name, nothing. And then there was another scene where she was talking about she gave a guy some money and gave him a key. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's just... The bird thing is a choice. I don't know why she lives that way. Right. It's definitely a choice. But I'm just saying, like, why do you have birds flying around your house and just dropping everywhere? Like, it's just nasty. First of all, that's unsanitary. And it's just nasty. Yeah, that's what I said. She gave somebody the key to her house, and then he asked for it back. And her friends were like, well, how do you know he didn't make a copy? And then she starts crying and getting all upset. Like, I'm not going to let myself be run out of my house again. Girl, nobody, you ran yourself. Now, what I do like is production will hold these people accountable, because production will they pulled the article of her having a stalker. So we know that's a real story. And when we get to Darra, baby, I knew Darra was alive when production busted her. I said, anytime production is telling on you, then you know. But we're going to get to Miss Darra in a minute. Okay. So then I said Lottie. See, I skipped right over Martha, because I skipped over Mark since I'd already told y'all who Mark was. So then we have Missy. Missy is a model. Missy makes bad decisions when it comes to men. She's trying to do better. So Missy has, her first baby daddy is like a celebrity soccer player, aka football, because in Europe they call it football, but I'm gonna say soccer for the purposes of us, Americans. And she said that basically he was too boring for her. Life was too easy. They had a baby together and he took care of her. She had this great life, but she was bored. So she basically cheated on him with a bad boy. And she said the red flags were red flagging from the word go. I knew he was a bad decision, but I wanted the adrenaline rush and I got it. And I got a baby. And 2 broken relationships later and 2 babies later, I realized this was not a good decision. So she is in therapy now, and she's working through why she makes these bad decisions. Okay. I wasn't sure I was gonna like Missy at first, but she's growing on me. Micah is American, and she is an etiquette queen over in London. She has a husband, she has a son, and she basically talked about she got into doing etiquette because when she met her husband, she was going to these like parties, these dinner parties and stuff like that, and she did not know proper etiquette, and she felt like a duck out of water, not knowing the proper way to hold a glass or the proper way, what the proper utensils were to use. So excuse me. So she got into etiquette, and there it is. And then we had Emma. I told you guys she's Black royalty. Her husband, I forgot what they said their title was, but it's a pretty decent title. And they have the largest estate in the UK. And her husband's father decided that it was a great decision to open the house up to the public. So that's how they maintain the property. So they have like a mini zoo on the property, and people can actually come and pay money to come to the house and things like that. So yeah. So far, I like Emma. Emma is not around a lot because Emma has real shit to do, but I really like her so far. Last but not least is Darra. Darra is an architect. She is also from the United States. Darra is a liar. And I don't know any other way of saying it. Darra is a freaking liar. Now, I was actually feeling sorry for Darra for about 15 minutes. Because at the garden party, there was a rumor that actually Martha was spreading the rumor that Darra is a madam. Now, Darra looks like she's Asian American. I'm not sure what she's mixed with, but she definitely looks like she's Asian American. So I kind of felt bad for her because I felt like, okay, is this like buying into a whole Asian stereotype that if she's rich and affluent, she must be a madam or something? So I was kind of side-eyeing the whole situation at first. And Micah was defending her friend. Micah and Darra know each other. They've known each other since college. And they actually share an office space. Darra is upstairs and Micah is downstairs, or vice versa, but they're in the same building running their businesses. And they were showing scenes where the two of them were like talking and laughing and joking. They showed pictures of them in college. But then when you talk to Darra was like, yeah, I mean, I know Micah a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say we're close. I mean, I wouldn't say we're friends like that. I mean, we know each other. Like, she was really downplaying a relationship while Micah was playing it up like, that's my best friend. We've known each other for ages. I love her so much. We get along so well. We have so much fun together. And there was this scene where she gave Darra like these pink walkie-talkies, and Darra was like, you could see that Darra was a little like, the fuck? Like, why are you giving me walkie-talkies? But they kind of laughed it off, you know, ha 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 kind of thing. I thought Michael was the liar at first, but they rolled the tape. Right. So Michael was actually defending her friend and was like, yo, she's not a madam. She's worked really hard. She owns her company. She owns her business. Like, why, you know, like what? I'm not going to let y'all sit here and dog my friend out. So I'm going to give Micah kudos for being in this new group of people and holding her ground and defending her friend and having her friends back. Right. I give her kudos for that. 100. She was 10 toes down. Call each other bunny. Right. She was 10 toes down for her friend. Right. But but they were laughing about the whole rumor about her being mad. Like it was funny, like it wasn't a big deal. And Micah was like actually appalled by it. Like she really was offended. Like, why are they talking about my friend like this? You know? So we see where Margot is looking for a house for her and her family. The family's moving. And you know, she's looking at these beautiful lofts that are out of her budget, but you know, that's cool. And then we see where Micah went to Darra, because again, Darra wasn't at the garden party, went to Darra to tell Darra what was said about her. Now, Darra was saying, we saw Darra have a conversation with Mark where she was saying that she was going to a wedding in Napa for one of her really close friends. And, you know, she was going to Napa. And Mark was like, oh, wow, wait a minute. I have a house in Napa. What part of Napa? And then all of a sudden, Darra didn't know nothing. Then all of a sudden it was, oh, I don't know. My assistant is handling that. And Mark was like, I thought that was a little weird because a minute ago it was your best friend and now you don't know nothing about the wedding, but okay, you know, whatever, you know. Mark is really a take it in stride kind of person, again, so far. But so she went to Darra to tell her what was being said. Now, Darra was talking about how she has a son with her ex-husband and how they share custody. And then she started talking about how great the stepmom was and how the stepmom just treats her son like, you know, treats him like her own son, and she couldn't ask for a better stepson. And then they showed this article. I had to rewind it like 2 or 3 times because I was trying to figure out what it was saying. I was like, wait a minute, what? So I had to like keep rewinding it. But the article, basically, the headline of the article was like, basically, the person that her husband is with now is a part of the royal family. And allegedly, she was accusing them of using the connection of the royal family to try to get custody of her son. And it was ugly. And it looked like it was a whole controversy that played out in the newspaper. So I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Darra acting like why is Darra acting like they're cool and the stepmom is the best person in the world when you don't fuck with that woman like that? And you accuse that woman of trying to steal your child from you. Like, so that's when I knew. I said, okay, it's something up with Miss Darra. So in the interim, we also see where, look, I gotta get these names. Hold on. Missy, I believe it was Missy, was talking to Margot. That might be the next episode. I told y'all we're just gonna do all 3 of the episodes at the same time. Where Missy was talking to Margot and saying, look, but let me finish this up. Darra's having a dinner party for everybody. Since she couldn't make it to the first event, she's having a dinner party for everybody. She's inviting all the people. So Micah goes over her house to talk to her about it. And Micah is like, look, before you have this dinner party and you have all these people, you know, in your presence, I think you need to know what was being said about you when you weren't around. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G was said. They were like, you were a madam, you were this, you were that. Baby, Darra didn't blink. Darra didn't show no emotion. Darra said, okay, well, since we're, you know, spreading gossip, since we're spilling tea and we're telling gossip, I just want to let you know that, you know, some people in our friend group, they feel some kind of way about you because they feel like you have been going around and telling things that they don't want repeated or something along those lines. baby. And Michael was sitting there like, first of all, I didn't ask for any gossip. I was trying to tell you what was being said behind your back so that you would know who these people are, know what you're walking into, know what they think about you. As far as people from our friend group, okay. Like, why are you like, you're not upset? Like, she was like, I was more upset than she was. Like, she was totally not bothered. So then I started thinking, well, hell, is it true? And she was like, well, I'm not going to get upset about something that I know is not true. I mean, it's not true. So I'm not going to get upset about it. So you mean to tell me a group of people who I don't know, who I've never met, that I'm getting ready to film this whole TV show with, think I'm a madam, and I have no response? Like, she had, when I tell y'all it was a flat, it was so flat, it was literally like nothing. It was like deers in the headlight. And I was like, I'm starting to think there might be some truth to it, because I wish somebody would call me a sex worker. And it's, again, I'm not shaming sex worker, but if I'm an architect and I have built my business up as an architect, why would so then that's when we see where Martha and Missy were meeting, and Missy was saying she felt some kind of way about this dinner party situation, because she was like, when I talked to Micah at the party, she thinks that her and Darra are like best friends, best buds. And when I talked to when we had lunch with Darra, it was her, I think might have been Kimmy, I'm not sure, but no, she said everybody left and it was just the two of them, because that's why I was nobody there to right. She said basically she dogged the shit out of Micah. She talked about how her whole etiquette business was fake and how they weren't really friends at all and how she's annoying. And she even told the story of the pink walkie-talkies and was like, why would she even bring that to me? Like, that is just so annoying that she would bring the pink walkie-talkie, and just dogged her out. And so Missy was like, listen, in my era of trying to, going through therapy and trying to be a different person, I am no longer going to allow people to put me in positions where I'm uncomfortable. And this is a position that I am uncomfortable in, because on one hand, you're talking about you're like, when she's around, you love her, and then when she's gone, you don't even F with her like that. You don't know why she blah 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 blah. So she was like, I feel some kind of way about that situation, because I feel like I'm in the middle and I don't know what to do. Now, Martha told her, don't say nothing. Martha said, listen, stay out of that. Maybe that ain't got nothing to do with you. You stay to the left of that situation. Darra basically called her friend Micah low class and beneath her. Right. Like, she kind of did. So then we had Mark, Emma. Who else was there? Mark, Emma. I think it was Missy. They went out for like, I guess lunch, tea, the Londoners, you know how they do. And they were talking about, they were getting her caught up on what she missed at the garden party, what was said, all of that. And we see that Emma and Mark have been friends for a very long time. No, it was Kimmy. It was Kimmy that came. It was Kimmy. And they were basically going over what happened at the dinner party. They talked about the whole rumor about Darra being a madam and, all of those things. And they talked about the dinner party and what to sort of expect at the dinner party and just a general conversation. We learned a little bit more about Mark. Again, Mark and Kimmy, these people, and that's the other thing. Y'all know I love these shows where people really know each other. They really have relationships. Like Mark and Kimmy have been friends for a long time. Emma and Mark have been friends. So these people really do know each other, right? I was agreeing with Martha at first too, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like if Missy hadn't said anything, I think we would eventually have what ended up happening because she was just so reckless. Like Darra was so reckless in her lies. So I think we would have eventually still had what we got, but it probably would have drug out a few more episodes, right? So, the next scene was Lottie and her husband taking their maternity pictures or boyfriend. So there was that, and then we have Margot and I believe that's Margot. Margot and Martha. Is it Margot? It may just be a friend of Martha's. Where she was talking about, I already told you guys, getting her house renovated. She talked about the stalking and why she moved. And she wants to start with the living room first. Now, she talked about, again, basically getting with men to take care of her, but her always ended up on the short end of the stick. She said her last marriage, he was rich, but she walked away from the marriage with basically nothing. She said, I didn't have the money to fight him. You know, he had better attorneys. He had more money. And I didn't have the money to fight him. And so I kind of just ended up with the short end of the stick. I didn't, you know. I like the couple. They're bosses. They're eclectic. They're in love. Again, V. Spencer, I do too. I agree. I feel like I love the fact that we're starting to get to a point in society where we don't have to put people in boxes. Like, who cares if the man likes to wear makeup? Who cares if, like you say, he's eclectic? If she love him and he love her and they making a life together, who am I to be on the outside judging their love? And I'm not. But I'm talking about anybody, like even, you know, people in the world. You know, she said people think he's gay, this, that, and the other. Well, clearly she know at the very least he like her. And whatever they got going on is there. And I'm with you, V. Spencer. I like them. They seem like a really cute couple, you know. So no, Margaret and Margot met in the park. Martha, excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me get these names off. Martha and Margot, they met at the park, and that's when Margot told Martha about meeting the guy at the park and giving him the money to pay her house. And Margot was like, girl, you didn't get that man last name. Did you see any credentials? Did you see any before and after pictures of his work? Like, did he show you anything to prove to you that he is who he said he was? And Margot was just like, no. I mean, I just believed him. Now, there's a part of me that understands that, Margot, you've lived this fairy tale life where you've probably never had to worry about doing things for yourself. And maybe you are naive to just basic things that the rest of us will be like, did you ask for credentials? Do you even know his last name? But some of this stuff I think is like, come on, Margot. I mean, Martha. Like, girl. Right. You are too old. Like, we're going to get to that because, baby, and this is why I love me some Margot, baby, because Margot don't play no games. Margot is a real friend. Margot is a real friend because in the next episode, when she has to get Martha together, she does it with love, but she tells her, listen, you're not going to, I'm not going to keep playing this game with you. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, honey. We're going to get to that. And her fashions are everything. Who, Margot's fashions or Martha's fashions? So we're down at the Asian Prime. Now, I went out to eat Sunday night, and where I went out to eat, there's a restaurant called Soul Prime, and I want to try it out. I'm sure it's expensive because it's a Prime restaurant, so I'm sure it's expensive like Ocean Prime and stuff like that. But it's Soul Prime, so I'm sure that their menu is probably, y'all know I told y'all I've been on this Asian food kick for a minute, and I feel like their menu is going to probably be really eclectic. That may be where I decide to do my birthday dinner. I'm gonna have to check the prices because if the prices are too ridiculous, I won't do it. But if they're reasonably expensive, y'all know what I'm saying? Like if they're expensive, but they're reasonably expensive, then I might invite my friends to come out there to celebrate my birthday. But if they're like too expensive, then I might just take myself for a solo dinner or a solo lunch. Maybe probably a solo lunch. But I definitely am intrigued. But anyway, so this was an Asian Prime. No, this wasn't Prime. It was Asian. It was Asian. What's that other expensive restaurant? Asian. Was it Prime? Hold on, let me Let me see. Hold on, somebody's calling me. Who's calling me? Damn. Anyway, it was a nice restaurant, child. So they're at the dinner party, and Darra's, welcoming everybody, and she has a couple of her friends there that aren't on the show. And so everybody's, like, hey, how you doing? Hugging it up, blah, 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 blah. I bet they have killer Korean barbecue and sushi rolls. Oh, yeah. And they probably have ramen. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check out the menu. Like I said, if it's something, like I said, when I say reasonably expensive, I think y'all know what I mean by that. But again, if it's unreasonable, I'll just take myself. It's the summertime. I got all summer. I'll take myself for a solo lunch. I just don't like asking people to spend ridiculous money on something that I would do it. But, I'm not asking somebody to spend ridiculous money, So the ladies show up again. And Mark. Everybody shows up. And Darra is still feeling some kind of way because, not Darra. Micah is still feeling some kind of way because she's still not sure how she feel about this whole, y'all was calling my friend a madam. She didn't really care that y'all called her a madam. And now we're all here having this little dinner party. Like, I'm still not sure quite how I feel about the whole situation, but okay. Then you have Missy, who's like, I feel like I need to say something. I feel like, right, she treated her social media stalker better, right? She said, I feel like, I'm not sure. I feel like I need to say something, but I'm just not sure because Micah is here thinking this is her best friend. And I know that this woman be talking about her like a dog when she's not around. So it's kind of like, don't know kind of situation. So the ladies, and Mark, they all sit down for lunch or dinner, whatever this is. I guess it's a dinner meal. And they have their table settings, baby. This is how you know that Mark don't give a damn. Mark was like, basically, damn the table settings. I want you to sit next to me. I want you to sit next to me. We're gonna sit over here so that we can talk and we can cackle. Okay. I don't care where she put the people. This will be sitting. So everybody sits down. And, they're having regular general, table conversation. And I want to say Darra said something that kind of triggered Missy. Like, I don't think Missy just came out of nowhere. I feel like Darra said something about being friends and, looking forward to meeting this group of people and, glad we're all here becoming friends, that kind of thing. And I feel like that kind of triggered Missy for her to be like, but are we friends like that? And she said, well, hold on. It's the Ivy. I knew it was I was going to get it. It was the Ivy. So it's Asian. It's the Asian Ivy. Okay. So I knew it was one of those expensive restaurants. So Darra was like, what? And she says, well, when we went out to lunch the other day, you were basically, Micah thinks that you're her best friend. But you were talking to me like you didn't like Micah, that Micah was just somebody that irritated you, that annoyed you. You talked about the pink walkie-talkies. You talked about that she was, what was the word she used? She used the word, and Micah was like, I didn't want to believe it. But after she said the pink walkie-talkies, and after she used that word, I forget what that word she used. She said, that is Darra's word. That is what Darra says. That cringe, that's what it was. She said, she was like, oh, Micah is just cringe. She said, when she said that, that's when I believe that Micah said, that Darra said it, because I know how she talks. And how is she, the pink walkie-talkies. Like, I knew there were certain things, even though I didn't want to believe it was true, there were certain things that let me know that this is true, right? So, oh, you know what? I just thought about something with production. Maybe that's another reason why production made a big deal about Darra bringing those women, going along with the whole madam storyline. Because Darra brought like 3 women with her. And they were like, yeah, we were really... And you could tell they didn't know her that well. But they were talking her up like they were best friends. It was just weird. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, maybe that's what they're trying to say. So it was funny because in Darra's speech, she was like, we all came from nothing and rose from the ashes, baby. And Mark was like, who came from nothing? And they started going around the room about all the people, like all of them people came from money. Like even Martha, who don't really have a whole lot of money now, came from money. Like, so clearly you don't know who you're talking about. You don't know who you're in the room with. Like, it's just weird. So now Darra is like, what are you talking about? She's like, I never said those things. I didn't say those things. I never said those things. So Missy was like, so you calling me a liar? That's when I think Missy got pissed off. Because now Missy was like, hold on. So you calling me a liar? Because it was bad enough when you said them, but now you telling me you didn't say them, looking me dead in my face. And here's where it got crazy. Micah comes over to Darra and says, hey, can we just go talk? Like, me and you one-on-one, have a conversation. Baby, Darra said no. Darra said, no, we're not doing that. Micah was on Watch What Happens Live and said she never received an apology from Darra and she doesn't communicate with her. I wonder if that has changed. I doubt it. I doubt it. So then Darra gets up. You could tell she's embarrassed. You could tell she doesn't know what to say. She gets up and she goes like where production is. And she says, yeah, I don't think this is going to work for me. I don't think this is going to work for me. And then she tells production, I mean, I did say those things. Then what you mean? Like, you literally walked away from the scene, went to production and was like, yeah, I said it, but, and then was like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. She comes back in, she sits down, you know, she's sitting there for a few minutes and Missy is still pissed off. Like, I can't believe you calling me a liar. I can't believe you trying to make it seem like you ain't had nothing, that you didn't say the things that you said. So you making me look like I'm the liar. And she asked Micah, she was like, Micah, do you believe me? Well, the rest of the table is kind of like making everybody feel good. Baby, Micah is just sitting there like, you could tell she's embarrassed and she doesn't know what to say. And she's just sitting there like, what the fuck is happening right now? Baby, Darra stands up and says, yeah, I don't think this show, and she like, fuck the fourth wall. She was like, I don't think this show is for me. So I'm leaving. And baby, and she walked out of her own dinner party. I said, bitch, what? And part of me was like glad because I was like, good for her, because she lying. She got the people out here looking all crazy and stuff. But then a part of me was mad because I was like, I want to see how far this was gonna go. Like, I wanted to see how long Darra was gonna lie. I wanted to see how far this shit was gonna go. Baby, Darra got her ass up and walked out. She said, I said, damn it, it's over already? Right, bravo, fucking bravo, right. Like, we've seen a lot of stuff. I don't know if we've seen somebody quit literally in mid-episode. We've seen somebody where we get like the production note, so-and-so has decided to no longer film. But I don't know if we've ever seen somebody just literally quit on camera and be like, yeah, so I'm not going to do this anymore. I no longer want to be on this show. Like, fuck the fourth wall. I no longer want to be on this show. And literally gets up and walks out. Baby, even her little fake friends that she brought with her was sitting there defending her. And her ass just walked out while she was backstage. Now, mind you, they defended her on camera. She behind the camera admitting that she said everything they said she said. Baby. And why did Martha apologize to Darra? I forgot what prompted it. Right, because she was the one that started the rumor, or she spread the rumor. I don't know if she started it or spread it, but she was a big part of the rumor. Not fried catfish, pickled okra, and baked sweet potato. Okay, girl. Baby, she came in, and I also think she came in thinking she was gonna run something. Like, I think she thought that she was gonna come in with this, I'm an architect, and this, that, and the other. Like, I think she thought she was gonna come in. I don't know. It definitely didn't go the way she thought it was gonna go. Which again is also making me feel like there's some validity to this whole story about her being a madam. Again, I'm not calling that woman a madam. I ain't saying that woman is a madam, but it just makes me feel like, is there some validity to the story of her being a madam? You know what I mean? I don't know. So episode 3 starts off with Micah, Kimmy, and is it Missy? The way she was trying to sound Micah and distance herself like she's a peach or something. I don't know why she was trying to distance herself from Micah so much. Because again, had me feeling, I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling some kind of way about Micah at first too. Like, dang, what's going on with Micah? So I don't know why she was trying to, I think it might be Lottie. Child, y'all know, I'm sorry, y'all gotta give me a minute to get all these white people together. So it might have been Lottie, but they went out for breakfast. They went out for breakfast and they were talking about what happened. And basically, Michael was like, look, because they were like, girl, you didn't say nothing. We were waiting for you to say something. And she was like, I didn't know what to say. Like, I was embarrassed. I believed her. I mean, I believed that Darra said those things, but in that moment, I didn't know what to do with the information. She's somebody I thought we were friends, and we had been friends for years, and it was Kimmy was there, but it's the I think it's Lottie though. I think it's Lottie. And she said, but I did believe her, not her, when I say her, she believed Missy. She believed that Darra said those things, but she was just really trying. She said, I tried to have a conversation with her and she wouldn't talk to me. So I didn't know. I was just sitting there and I just didn't know what to do with it. I was just stuck. And they were like, well, have you heard from her? She was like, no, like, no, I haven't talked to her. I haven't heard from her. Like, that's just kind of where it sort of landed, So then we see Missy, she's moving into her apartment. She found an apartment. It's big enough. Her oldest child, she doesn't have custody of, but the youngest child she does. So it's big enough for the two of them. And she said, listen, I'm just starting over. It's nice to be in my own place that I'm paying for. It may not be, what I've been used to, living the way I've been used to living, but it's mine. And she's inviting everybody to a winery out on the countryside to just get out of the city, for everybody to just kind of regroup. Things just kind of got off to a really bad, a bad start. So she just wants to, let everybody regroup and that kind of thing. Yeah, they were shopping in Lottie's neighborhood. Yeah. So Martha goes to visit her things. I guess this is London's version of a storage unit. She has stuff in like these crates. And there's a lot of her stuff. And she was going through some of it, trying to figure out what to keep, what to throw away. And Margot is there to kind of help her. And that's what she was saying, that she walked away from her last divorce with pretty much nothing. She said she just didn't have the attorney to fight it. And she's, she said, would it be easy for me to just find another rich man to take care of me? Yes, but I don't want to do it that way this time. I want to take care of myself. I want to build my own. I want to make my own money. And so she's going through some of these crates, and some of the things belong to her sister. Her sister is no longer with us. Her sister self-deleted. And, she said that she, carries some guilt from that. Her and her sister weren't that close. And so she carries some guilt about her sister choosing to do that. So she was upset about that. And there were some other things in there that belonged to, I think, like her mom and her dad and things of that nature. And so, that's when, and we found out that again, Martha comes from money. Like, her father was a very, successful entrepreneur. And, she, again, lived a good life. Baby, she started talking about that she gave some man a key to her house to come and do some work. I think a pipe was busted or something like that, to come and do the work. And she gave that man a key. didn't know nothing about him, didn't know him from a hole in the wall. And Margot was like, listen, I'm not doing this with you. Like at this point, I think you just want to be a damsel in distress. I think you want to just be the person that everybody has to come and save, because it makes no sense to me that why are you just giving people keys to your house? Like you literally had a whole stalker. You literally had to move out of your last house because some man kept coming by your house and just like, and he was schizophrenic and he was off his meds and he was just doing crazy shit. Why would you put yourself in these predicaments? Baby, Margot let her have it. She did not hold her tongue. And she told her, she said, and if you're going to insist on doing these things, I'm going to have to separate myself from you because I can't do this. Baby, Margot started crying and she was like, I'm sorry. And they ended up making up, honey. But she told her, she said, listen, I'm not going to keep doing this with you. You ain't going to put me in danger. You know? Right, Fanny? She sounds like she want to be the victim. She does. That's what she sounds like. Sure does. So all the ladies and Mark get together to go down to the countryside. Now they rode in these really nice cars. They look like they were like the Mercedes, what they call them, Sprinters, but like the London style Sprinter. Really nice, but they got caught in a lot of traffic, and it took them what normally would have taken them like an hour and a half, took them like 3 hours to get there. And as a result, wait a minute, let me put a pin in that. Let me rewind. Micah does actually sit down with Darra to have a conversation, and the conversation goes nowhere. Like literally every time Micah says something, Darra would say, well, what about me? Well, I did it. Well, what did I do? And she still wouldn't admit that she said it. She still was saying she didn't say the things that Missy said she said. She still was playing the victim. Every time Micah said something, she would throw it back at Micah and smack it up, flip it and rub it down and turn it into something it was not. Right. She said, I'm not coming to your house and find out you were dead in your living room. Right. You know, smack it, you know, like, and find out that it, anyway, she just wouldn't take any responsibility or any accountability. And she just kept flipping it back and was sitting there acting stupid and acting like, well, I was hurt that you didn't defend me. I was embarrassed too. I was like, everything she said, Darra made it about her, and Darra turned it into her and almost like made Micah the bad person. And Micah was like, wait a minute. I'm not the one that said those things. I'm not the one that misrepresented and made it seem like we weren't really friends. Like, I didn't do anything to you. Why are you trying to turn this back on me? Right. She would have been great for this. That's why I said I'm almost mad. I'm kind of mad that Missy confronted her so early, because I really wanted to see this play out a little bit longer. But unfortunately, child, you know. And basically that ended. And that's where, you know, Micah said that she had to make a decision to separate herself and no longer want to be friends with her. And so it sounds like she stuck to it. If you said she was going to watch What Happens Live and she still doesn't talk to her, it sounds like she stuck with that. You know what I mean? You know? Darra and Kimmy. Yeah, I think that could have been a good one. I think Mark can give a little too. I think Mark got a lot to give too, honey. We saw a cute scene where Lottie went shopping for her baby was that her mom or her mother-in-law? And that was cute. We saw another really cute scene with Kimmy and her kids. She took them to like a little pottery where they could, you know, paint their own pottery. We saw her kids doing that. And she talked a little bit more about her daughter and her daughter's autism. And so, you know, and she talked about, look, basically, I didn't know anything about being a mom because I didn't have a great example in my mother. So I just figured if I did the opposite, you know, like if I did the opposite of what my mom did, you know, I'd be good. So it was cute. Then we on our way down to the countryside to the winery. Mark actually literally had to turn around and go back. He was like, look, I'm sorry. I was coming to hang out, but I didn't expect it to take us 3 hours to get here. I literally have to get back because I have an event to go to later on tonight. And with traffic being as bad as it is, I gotta go. So Mark wasn't there, but all of the ladies were there, including Emma was there. And it looks like they had a nice little lunch, and then they had a wine tasting, and then like a little hors d'oeuvre time, wine tasting, and then they sat down for lunch. Now, poor Lottie was like, I'm not sure if inviting a pregnant woman to a wine event was the best decision, but okay. So they had lunch, and I don't know how lunch became my blues ain't your blues ain't like mine type, because they literally, everybody was telling the story of the worst things in their life. And Missy talked about how her brother was unalived in front of his family, and how it seemed like he was sort of hunted down. Like, everybody was telling these horrific stories about how horrible their life was. I mean, Margot talked about doing the movie and how that, affected her with the movie. And um um who else told a horrible story? But it really just went around the room. And they it was like, and Kimmy was like, when did this become a how horrible my life is moment? And now I gotta one up you. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was here what Kimmy was saying. I was like, how did we get here? How did this turn into this? Because it was dark. And I mean, once Missy shared her story, that was bad enough. But then everybody else started sharing their horrible life stories. And I was like, how did this happen? How did we get here with everybody sharing how horrible their life experiences were? They ended the night playing beer pong. And they got back in the car to go back home. And as they were getting back in the car, right, I was with Kimmy. In the car, Kimmy's attitude seemed very flippant. Once they got in the car, it seemed very flippant, because Kimmy was just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, no, I don't feel no kind of way. No, I'm not sad. I'm not upset. No. And they were like, even Missy's story didn't move you when she talked about her brother being unalived. And she was like, listen, y'all don't think it's more to that story than what she told? That story didn't seem a little suspect to you? And basically, Kimmy was like, listen, her brother was hunted down and he was unalived in front of his family. That is a targeted assassination. That was not some random violence. And I think it's more to that story. I think her brother was into something he didn't need to be into, and they came and got him. Now, I'm paraphrasing what Kimmy said, but that's basically what Kimmy said. And then here come production. Production gonna roll that beautiful bean footage and show like the headlines from the article about Missy's brother being unalive. And it does allude to it may have been a targeted thing. It wasn't random. I'm gonna be honest. Kimmy is hard. Like, she comes off very hard. It came off very hard what she said, but at the same time, I feel like what Kimmy was saying was, it's more to that story. And I feel like Missy was trying to get ahead of something. So I'm sorry she went through that, but I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? And it just came off very cold. So she was in the car with Martha and who was she in the car with? It was Martha. Maybe it was Margot. It was either Margot or Lottie she was in the car with. And it just came off very cold. But I kind of was with Kimmy. I was kind of with Kimmy. Like, girl. Oh, it was Margot. Okay, Martha and Margot. Thank you, y'all. Because I don't know where I have my notes from the first episode. I don't know where my notes from the second and third episode are. Because I took the notes last week, so they're probably mixed in this notebook somewhere. Exactly. I get Kimmy can be a bit harsh, but she's also someone with an autistic child. So when she is out, she may want to be on a lighter note. And with her growing up in Haiti, I got her outlet. Also, I feel like Kimmy was like, because people were they were in the other car complaining like, well, we didn't learn anything about Kimmy. I mean, we don't know anything more about Kimmy than what we knew before we got here. And I think that was the other, they were irritated because Kimmy didn't like spill her guts, but I'm with Kimmy. I don't know y'all like that. And what y'all want me to tell y'all? Like, what y'all want me to say? you know. But honestly, when I go out to eat with friends, don't get me wrong, sometimes conversations can get dark. Sometimes conversations can get deep because friends, sometimes we gotta tell people stuff and we gotta let things out. But generally speaking, it just seemed like once Missy told her story, then it just seemed like as it went around the room, everybody was trying to one up and tell their horror story. You know, it just seemed like it just kept getting worse. And I was just like, again, I was with Kimmy. Y'all wasn't gonna get nothing out of me. Y'all wasn't gonna get nothing more out of me. You know? So, but that was episodes 1 through 3. I'm enjoying the show. I'm really enjoying the show. So we have episodes 4 and 5, and then I think they have a new episode on Thursday. So I'm gonna try to do 4 and 5 before Thursday's episode. But if I don't, we may just do another episode with 3. You know, do 3. I don't know. I don't like lumping them together because I feel like I miss stuff. I feel like I'm rushing through certain things and I'm not getting everything. So I really don't like doubling up. I don't mind so much, but I really don't like doing like 3 and 4 episodes because I just feel like it's so much gets lost. But we'll see. We'll see. With that being said, y'all, I'm about to get out of here. El Teddy is going live at 5, and we'll be having a tribe meeting this evening. And I think I'm clocking out after that, honey. That'll be my 4th live for today. Y'all got me working today, honey. Y'all got me working today, okay? All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.